Hej allihopa! Det här är Sauber! Välkommen tillbaka till kanalen! Howdy folks, Sauber here. Welcome back to the channel. Alrighty, so it's that time again. A new dev server video. And for those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. As always, dev server videos tend to increase my views for various reasons, even though in this particular video I'm not covering any particular vehicle, but rather a tech tree, something I don't usually do on a dev server. So as a little quick update, I apologize in advance if by the time this video is out, the live server is already out. You know, it's close to the holidays, and as you know, War Thunder goes on a developer blitzkrieg and releases stuff super quickly. I am trying to get this out as quickly as possible, but for various reasons, including busy schedule IRL, I'm doubtful that this will be out before the live server comes out. So if this is out after the live server, I do apologize for that. And one other brief update I wanted to mention is that I am having a bit of a hard time with War Thunder lately, you know, like enjoying it. So there's one more video after this that has not been uploaded yet. It is actually complete by the time of the making of this video. It just hasn't been uploaded yet. So having said that, once that video is released, I'm going to try to focus on lower tier vehicles or even maybe aircraft again. So be sure to stay tuned for that. All in all, I want to express my appreciation for your continued support despite my ups and downs. I can't say it enough. Thank you. It really means a lot. So, yeah, thank you for staying here for me to listen to me give that brief update. It's always difficult when you're trying to focus on something positive and for various reasons you just cannot. But now that I've gotten that off my chest, let's get into this, what you see here. Now what you see here is a really cool vehicle. This thing is the VT 2012. At least I think that's what it was called. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. But this thing is insane. 120mm cannon, 1.2 second reload. I mean, man, it's not, I guess you could say it's kind of like an autoloader. Like, I just thought of something, but I'll get into that in a moment. So this thing, which I forgot to mention, as you may probably well know if you've watched my channel before, when it comes to the dev server, things are subject to change. Ivan, release it. Oh, wait, that's the wrong accent. Ivan, release the update now and we'll fix it later. What's that? There's something inaccurate? Bad X-ray model? We'll fix it later. That's generally how it works. When something is added to the dev server, things are subject to change. One of my most favorite changes was, I forgot which dev server it was, but it was where they added the Leopard 2 A5. Remember when that thing had a 1,000mm of effective thickness against APFS DS? Yeah, those were some times. And what I think it was that they took the Leopard 2A5 from the April Fools in 2017 and just added it into the game as a placeholder. But later they changed it and they fixed it essentially. So yeah, that was quite interesting. But yeah, so those tiny little 40mm shells you saw displayed there probably will most definitely get fixed later. But one other thing I thought was cool about this update is the addition of sparks, as you saw when I shot at that T-34 there. And in addition, other burning vehicle wrecks. Which makes me curious if they'll eventually model it to where those sparks could be dangerous to open-top vehicles. Probably not for balance reasons, but it's interesting food for thought. Now this one, oh yeah, the STRV 103. Now I will get started by saying aside from these two test drives, and I think there was one more, I don't play these out in a custom battle, mainly because in regards to the STRV, I think it's the 103 that you see here. As cool as it is, I have not bought it. I didn't purchase it. And mainly because I am saving my money for that's so funny. Other content in game for the Christmas sale or the holiday sale, whatever you want to call it, whatever doesn't offend you. But this thing is really cool. So as you see, it's got a super long 105mm cannon. I think it's L74, something ridiculous like that. It is very long. And as you can see, the gun is fixed permanently to the hull. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. So as you saw there, I forgot what I was looking for in these options. I think I was trying to turn the grass off to see if I was scraping the undercarriage against the ground when I was tilting the suspension like that. So as you can see, in order to aim the gun, you use the suspension and hull aiming. But how difficult that would be IRL, you would think this would have been used as a tank destroyer, but no. If sources prove correct, this was actually considered a main battle tank, or MBT, and this was used until 1997. Pretty nifty there. And if you've seen Phly's video covering the STRV-103, you'd be amazed of how effective those 40mm of armor are at 80 degrees. It's quite impressive. And another interesting thing to note about this vehicle is it has not one, but two engines. But, pardon me, I did get a little bit ahead of myself. How difficult this would be, you know, to do the hull aiming in real life, I don't know. But for the sake of balance in War Thunder, you could just press a button and wherever you aim the mouse, as long as your engine's working, of course, you can aim the hull left and right, up and down as needed. Now, the way the machine guns are positioned on this vehicle is quite interesting, because if you fire them while aiming straight, they're aimed slightly down. I don't know if that's intentional or what, but it is quite interesting. And also how you can put the suspension down so low or so high that you're literally dragging your undercarriage. Quite funny when you think about it. And the APDS on here, it's not the best, but it is pretty decent. Oh yeah, here's the MG fire. And, oh, am I gonna see it? Yep, see, they're aiming slightly downward, so you need to aim slightly higher in order to get the machine guns on target, which is quite interesting, as you can see there. But all in all, the STRV-103 is a really interesting vehicle. I may get it in the future, I may not, I don't know yet, because I'm trying to save my money, and yeah. But all in all, this vehicle is really cool. And going back to the engine I was going to mention, is that this has not one, but two engines. A diesel engine and a small gas turbine engine. Why? Well, I didn't know, I wasn't sure about this for a while until I did some research on that. When I read this article, sorry, I don't remember where I read this from, but it was fairly recently, I think like a month ago or so. But it was talking about how Russia is restoring a good number of its T-80 tanks, namely the T-80B. You would think it would be more likely the T-80U with the improved turret armor, but I'm not going to get into that. Basically, the reason that the T-80s are especially vehicles of interest up in the northern regions of Siberia and whatnot is because, and I didn't know this, when it comes to using a diesel engine in the super cold climates, it takes a while to start them up, and you gotta do this process to heat up the engine and to start it up properly. Whereas a gas turbine, you only need 45 seconds. Yep, that's right, 45 seconds. They actually thrive, or I don't know if I should say thrive, but they actually work decently in cold weather. So that was really interesting to find out why the STRV has two engines, the diesel engine and the gas turbine engine. I think that's really cool. How efficient that is, I don't know. But yeah. So let's get into these aircraft that you see here. The J-11, it's funny, when I first saw this I was like, wait a minute, is this what I think it is? So I go to Italy, have a little trouble finding it at first. I'm like, and then I was like, no, wait a minute, here we go. Marclones, Marcolins, yeah, Marcolins CR42CN. Yeah, the J11 is a CR42 Falco, which is really cool, by the way. I am a fan of early biplanes. You know, now that I think about it, I want you to let me know in the comments below. I would appreciate you sharing your opinion with me about this. Do you think, or rather, when do you think War Thunder will start to add aircraft and maybe even ships from World War One, or even pre-World War One dreadnoughts, for example? Because the way I see it is, oh, to deviate a little, I did read in the patch notes that the P-51A got wartime belts, which were those belts you saw there, which you get on early U.S. armed fighters like the P-40 Warhawk, or even some of the naval fighters like the F-4U Corsair. But what has me curious is, why is it that some of them have a certain type of belt, you know, which lack the APIT and armor-piercing incendiary tracer round? I think it's the M20 bullet. I always thought that was really interesting. I guess maybe naval aircraft could not have those kinds of belts in case there was a fire. I don't know. I just had to highlight that a little bit. But yeah, anyhow, going back to the subject of World War I planes, which I definitely would like to see in the game. And because when you think about it, War Thunder is going more and more modern. I mean, you get the premium helicopters and modern MBTs that cost... Okay, that's cool. Let me deviate a little. So this plane... Wow, this actually looks really cool. It looks like something out of Phly Boys. Now, I know this is a Swedish plane, but the markings are really interesting. I don't see the... Forgive me, I don't know what the marker is officially called, but it's the, you know, the blue circle with the 3 gold crowns. I don't see that on this, but I see a Jolly Roger. I see what looks like a Soviet star. Probably not. I highly doubt that, but yeah, that was really interesting. Gotta say, it did look really nice. I'm really I definitely think I'll buy that plane simply because of how cool it looks, and it looks like something out of World War One. But anyway, you get the modern premium helicopters and modern MBTs that cost like 20,000 silver to repair. Ridiculous stuff like that. Oh my goodness. See, this is why I haven't been playing a lot of modern MBT stuff, aside from a handful of the Russians, like the T-64A and T-72A, simply because they have such decent and modest repair cost, and at the moment, they're having a really good meta right now. And to deviate just one more time, B-17A, I have to highlight this plane. Tell me, for those of you that heard about the Deadblock Ren, got a notification on Discord, or maybe even just saw the title on your phone, how many of you thought that when they said B-17A, instead of referring to this, they were referring to this? Yeah, B-17A. I thought it was going to refer to the Boeing B-17A, not this plane that looks so ugly, it's cute. Okay, it's not really ugly. It does look cool, I gotta say. But, man, when I heard B-17A, I thought it was going to be the Boeing B-17A. Oh no, that plane is rather interesting, I gotta say. So, yeah. So the conclusion regarding, you know, the World War I aircraft is that you can only go so far into the present. Yeah, that sounded weird. Where, like, if you have, like, the T-14 Armada or the M1A2C, etc., you can't get much more modern than that. So you have a choice. You either add more nations, like Sweden, which, don't get me wrong, I do welcome more nations. It adds more diversity to the game. But you could also go further back and introduce some even earlier examples of technology. So, yeah. Alright, let's see. Let's see, the B-18... No. Here, I'm not going to try to pronounce this plane, but I gotta say, this plane does look rather interesting. It kind of reminds me of a BF-109 G2 fuselage. You can even see the resemblance. Oh yeah, I think it even has the same engine. Same cannon, different machine guns. It has 50 caliber machine guns, which is cool. And then, I guess the wings are that of a G-55 Centauro, I think? Not the car Centauro, but the airplane Centauro. But all in all, I gotta say, this plane does look really cool. And from what I understand, only 2 prototypes were made? I haven't flown it myself, but it does look really cool. And then we got the J-22B. I gotta say, these aircraft do look really cool. But what I really am looking forward to is covering the jets. Those are some of the most interesting machines you will see, but we're almost there, so let's continue on. Let's see, B-22B, B-18B. Let's take a look at this. Oh yeah, I gotta say, it does kind of remind me of a year 2. The YER-2s. Man, do you remember when those planes used to have the best bomb load in the game? I mean, they kind of still do, but the BE-8 kind of stole it with the 5,000 kilogram nuke. But man, this B-18B, look at its armament loadout. All these rockets and different assortments of bombs. I especially, if I get this plane, I would definitely like to mess around with the rockets on there. Sorry, I'm hiccuping. What now? The J-26, there's no picture. What is it? Okay. It's a P-51. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Very nice. P-51s for everyone. The US gets it, the British get it through the Mustang 1A, which is a premium, by the way. Now, I could be wrong on this, but I think there's a P-51C that... Wait, what? Only 250 kilogram bombs? Come on. No HVARs? Not even 500 pounders? Interesting. Interesting, interesting. Anyway, I could be wrong on this, but if I recall correctly, there's a rare P-51C or maybe P-51D for the British tree that was given out during one of those holiday events. I don't know. Now, the J-29D. This is the one we know well with 430 millimeters. Rather interesting plane. I've only flown it out once, but it's not a bad jet. It's actually really decent. I just think, in all fairness, it could use a slight BR reduction. Nothing too ridiculous. I think maybe even 8.3, like this J-29A here. Now, when the J-29 was announced for 1.93, at least I think it was 1.93, I thought it was going to be the J-29A with the 420 millimeters. But then when I saw the 430s, I was like, oh man, this thing looks cool. And it's funny because I was debating on whether or not to get it, but then one of my friends messages me and says, hey, do you want the J-29D? I was like, yeah, but I'm not sure if I want to get it. He's like, hey, here you go. I'll get it for you. And I was like, gee, thanks. So that was super nice. So thank you, man. I really appreciate it. J-29F. Now, a lot of these seem, I don't want to say copy pastas, but, ooh. I just noticed something. And no, it's not just the stripes, but no, ignore the fuel tank. Yeah, for a moment, I thought the control surfaces or the control rods went right through the fuel tank. I was like, wait, what? But this is rather interesting. I don't know what you officially call it, but where I have the mouse pointer pointed at, notice that the J-29 has the normal wing, and just J-29D as well, but the J-29F, it has, I guess you call them notches? I don't know what you call those. But the outer part of the wing extends out. The only other aircraft I know of that has that is the McDonnell Douglas F-4 Phantom II. Now, do let me know in the comments below what that is for. Does it, like, improve aerodynamic efficiency? Does it improve stability? Or what is that? I'm really curious because that does look really cool. But I don't know what purpose it serves. I don't know. That is really interesting all in all. And so, J-28B, what's this? Okay. It's a de Havilland Vampire with British markings. Now, understandably, this is the depth server. They Charlie just pressed Control-C, then Control-V, and said, don't worry, comrade. We'll paint a new paint scheme later using Microsoft Paint. Don't get me wrong, I remember these paint schemes are not bad. They're actually really decent, but some of the older planes, their paint schemes are a little bleh, and they could be improved. In the sense that, you know, they're pixelated or just not well detailed. Alrighty, so what's this one? So a lot of these J-29s look the same for the most part. But this one... Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, this one... This is what I was trying to figure out. Does this one have air-to-ground armament? Which it does. No bombs, but rockets. Interesting. Coolio. All right, now this is the jet I've been waiting for to cover. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The J-32B. Yep, mic drop. So, the J-32 looks like a really interesting plane. Now, I'm curious. Oh my goodness. 5,336 kilograms of thrust? Dang, I think that's even more than the Hawker Hunter. Definitely more than the Sabres. And from what I understand, that jet was the Swedish answer to the jets like the F-86 Sabre. Now you saw the... Actually, let's do the CL-13 Mark VI. This, I think, has the most powerful engine available for the Sabre. 2,900 kilograms of thrust versus 5,000 on the J-32. That's really impressive, and it has the four 30mm 8... Or no, they're not 8-ins, they're Akans. Akan cannons. Those are really cool. And it's a two-seater. Now, what has me curious is, given the way it is shaped, you know, with the nose and all, and it has the fuselage-mounted air intakes, if this was an interceptor, like had radar. I'm really curious if it did have a radar system, because you don't see it here on this dev server, but that doesn't mean it doesn't actually have one, just hasn't been implemented yet. Because you notice at the front of the nose, it's painted that dark gray, or dark black rather. Dark black, that sounds weird. You know, the black paint scheme. I don't know. Now, do forgive me. I don't know too much about post-Korea War jets. I know a handful of information, but not so much as like the radar systems and the missile systems, that sort of thing. Now, it does get 2 RB-24 missiles. I don't know what kind of missiles those are. I assume they're probably similar to AIM-9Es or something like that. And then you also get 2 missiles and a number of rockets. So yeah, that's really cool. All in all, I really would like to have the J-32. It does look really cool. How well it'll perform, there's only one way to find out. Now, I'm not going to cover all of the new additions for this dev server. And do note that this, from what information I could find, the aircraft I just showed you on the Swedish tree, that's not all that's going to be added into 1.95 Northern Wind. There are going to be more added later on, but I did want to cover a handful of other vehicles, namely the M60A3 TTS. Now this one for the Chinese tree, it doesn't have ERA. I think it does have thermal. It has the same ammo choices as the M60A1, which isn't really that appealing. But I'm pretty sure it does have thermal. But the M60A3 on the US tree does have ERA. It does have NVD, or, you know, the thermal. But this is the interesting thing. It does get the M735 ammo from the start and M774 ammo as an upgrade. And the last thing I wanted to cover is the Challenger 2. Now, granted, I can't show you the new armor package it gets, but I can show you it in its upgrade tree, or yeah, something like that. The Dorchester 2F. Now, here's an interesting food for thought I want to leave with you, and do let me know in the comments below what you think about this. For the Challenger 2, they're adding that Dorchester upgrade as a modification to the vehicle, whereas for the Challenger 2, Mark II, or Mark III rather, they added that upgrade as a separate vehicle. Do you think that they should have done the same with the Challenger 2, added a new vehicle rather than add that as a modification? Because when you think about it, the Japanese now have the Type 90 and Type 90B, the Americans have the M1A1 and M1A2, the Germans have the Leopard 2A4 and Leopard 2A5. Why doesn't the British get the Challenger 2 and then the Challenger 2 Dorchester upgrade as a separate vehicle? Are you okay with having it as a modification, or would you have rather have it added as a second vehicle? Do let me know in the comments below, because for me, I'll be honest, I don't really care how it works, because I never really went that far on the British tree. It's kind of hard for me to upgrade through all, or not upgrade, progress through all the trees, since, you know, I have other interests than just War Thunder. I like to focus on my main 3 trees. The US tree, the Russian tree, and the German tree, at least as far as ground forces go. For air forces, I try to equalize it as much as possible, but my main focus is those three nations. So yeah. But anyway, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you are enjoying the videos so far. I'm really grateful for your continued support despite my irregular schedule lately. Things haven't been too great IRL, but they're bearable at least. I won't go into detail, but things have been a bit difficult lately. I'll be honest, there were a couple of times recently where I considered, taking a break from YouTube, but when I edited this video, I was like, no, I love what I do. Even if it means taking a little bit of a break, I don't see myself stopping cold turkey anytime soon. And if this is your first time visiting this channel, welcome. I really appreciate you checking me out. And if you like my content, please, by all means, tell your friends and share with your friends and family. I really appreciate the support you give. And as you know, well, if you've been with my channel for a while, I don't do this to make money or to be popular. I do this as a hobby, and the more support I get, the way I see it is, I'm bringing more nice content for you to enjoy. So, yeah, thank you. But anyway, that is it for today's video. Have a great day. Please, stay safe out there, and peace out.